Awesome words means vocab. So terms. Terms are groups of coefficients, variables, and or constants, and they're separated by addition and subtraction signs. So in this example, your terms are 5x and -3. Right? So the things, the numbers, the variables, the things you are adding and subtracting, those are your terms. Coefficients are the numbers that are multiplied by the variable. So in this example, the coefficient is 5, right? There's nothing in between the 5 and the x. There's no addition, there's no subtraction, there's no division, because you would see those. It's literally just 5x. So when you have a number and it is smushed together with a variable, such as it is in this example, the 5, the number directly in front of your variable, which is to the left, is your coefficient. So a variable is an unknown quantity represented by a letter. You can use any letter of the alphabet as a variable in math, right? So in this example, we use x. X is actually the most commonly used variable in algebra, and it's unknown for expressions, especially because in expressions, the variables could be any number. And because they can be any number, that means you can get limitless answers. Right? Equations, when we solve equations, that equal sign restricts how many numbers the variable can be. So when we have an equation and we solve an equation, we're just really trying to figure out what number the variable is to make it true. So when you have an equation, it really restricts it to a variable only being one answer. But with expressions, it could be any number possible. Right? A constant is a number that stands alone without a variable in an expression. So it's just a regular old number. It's being added or subtracted. It's not being multiplied by a variable. In this example, your constant is -3. We're going to talk about why it's considered negative in a second. Right? Your operator and operation, that's your addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And again, just to review, addition and subtraction separate your terms in expressions. So this is subtraction, so it separates the 5x and the 3. Now, things to know about expressions. An expression with no variable in it is called a numerical expression. That is what we've been doing with order of operations. It's your adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing numbers, right? So here are some examples. We have 4 plus 3, 7 times 8, 8 plus 6 minus 2, right? So again, numerical expressions, it's just order of operations. There are no variables. It's what we're used to. Now, positive constants and coefficients are those that are greater than 0. Negative constants and coefficients are those that are less than 0. And I'm not quite sure you can see this part, oopsies, down here, but a constant that is being subtracted into an expression, there we go, is considered to be a negative constant. So for example, the constant 4x minus 2 is -2. The reason we say that it's negative with subtraction is because subtraction is the same thing as adding a negative. Okay, so just like in the last example, we had 5x minus 3, your constant is -3. So what does evaluating expressions mean? So evaluate 4x plus 3y when x equals 2 and y equals 6. So what's going on here? Well, as you can see, they took 2 and replaced x with 2, and they took 6 and replaced y with 6. So they substituted the values that were given to them into the expression. From here, they multiplied. 4 times 2 is 8, 3 times 6 is 18, and then they added to get 26. So you substitute the values they give you into the expression, and then you have to follow the order of operations, right? So evaluate means to substitute a given number in for a variable and simplify using the order of operations. Great definition, right? You know how to simplify with the order of operations. You know, you give a number in for a variable, right? You know what that means. But if you don't know what substitute means, you're going to be stuck. Substitute means to replace the variables with the given number, right? You're replacing the variables with numbers. You're swapping them out. Just like you would in cooking, you can substitute different ingredients. in cooking all the time. That just means you're replacing them with something different.